Welcome to another Deep Dive, everybody. Today we're taking a look at creepypastas, those online horror stories that just seem to crawl under your skin and, well, stick with you.
They really do, don't they?
Yeah, and you know me, I love a good scare, especially when it's wrapped up in this idea of, what if this is real? You know?
Oh, absolutely. That's where it gets really interesting.
Right, and for this deep dive, we're diving into a YouTube video. It's from Mr.Nightmare, and it's called 3 Disturbing True Scary Stories.
I see. We have that true element right there in the title.
It's like they know exactly what they're doing.
Hooks us right in.
Yeah.
That claim of authenticity can really amplify the fear factor, don't you think?
Oh, totally. And the way these stories are presented, just one person staring right at you through the camera, sharing these experiences, it's like they're confiding in you, letting you in on a secret.
Oh, for sure. It creates this sense of intimacy, like those old campfire stories, passing down legends and warnings.
Okay, so let's jump right into this first story. It's called Patrick,
I'm intrigued already.
and it starts with this kid in school, Patrick, always wearing a gray hoodie, sunglasses even inside, the whole mysterious loner vibe.
Oh, yeah. Classic creepy kid trope.
Exactly. But here's where it takes a turn. Patrick goes around telling everyone he's, well, a demon.
A demon. Okay, now that's got my attention.
Yeah. And it's not like he's subtle about it. He's got this whole thing about appearing whenever someone says his name 3 times.
Oh, like a reverse Bloody Mary?
Kind of. Instead of a mirror, it's the act of speaking his name.
Interesting. It's like a modern twist on those old summoning rituals.
Right. The narrator and his friends, they kind of play along with it at first. They even have this whole adoption ritual where Patrick claims people as his own.
It sounds almost playful, in a way.
It is at first,
Yeah.
but there's this underlying tension, this feeling like they're messing with something they don't really understand.
Ah, so they're testing the boundaries a little.
Exactly. Daring each other to cross a line.
Yeah.
And then, well, things start to get weird. One night, the narrator is home alone with the guy she's seeing, and he starts yelling Patrick's name 3 times.
Oh, he did not.
He did, despite her warnings.
Uh-huh.
And you can feel that tension in the story just like skyrocket.
Okay, so what happens next? I have to know.
Well, the narrator is home alone. It's dark. There's a storm raging outside.
Oh, they're setting the scene for sure.
Right. Total vulnerability.
Yeah.
And then she sees a figure outside her window.
No way.
Yeah. And in that moment of pure terror, her mind jumps to the most obvious conclusion. It's Patrick.
Right, even though logically.
There could be a million other explanations. Exactly.
But that's the power of fear, isn't it? It makes us see the thing we're most afraid of.
It's like our brains fill in the blanks with the worst possible scenario.
Precisely. And that's where the story leaves us, doesn't it? No neat resolution, no explanation, just this lingering sense of unease.
And that final detail. The next morning, the narrator finds Patrick's gray hoodie in her backyard, wrapped around some of her stuff.
Oh, come on, that's just creepy.
Right. Was it Patrick? Was it all in her head? We don't know. And that's what makes it so effective. That seed of doubt, that fear, it sticks with you. Makes you wonder if maybe, just maybe, there's something to these stories after all, right?
Maybe. Speaking of things that make you wonder, this next story is a bit different.
The Trap. Yeah, this one's a wild ride.
Oh, tell me more.
So picture this. It's the middle of a snowstorm.
Okay, setting the mood already.
Right. And our narrator and his friend Mike, they're driving down this deserted road when they spot a car just stopped in the middle of the road. Hazards are blinking.
Ooh, that's creepy. Especially in a snowstorm, makes you feel even more isolated.
Exactly. And it's like that instant dilemma, right? Help or keep going.
What's your gut telling you in that situation?
You know, it's funny because the narrator actually says he's a pretty skeptical guy. Doesn't trust easily.
Ah, so he's already got his guard up.
Big time. But his friend Mike, he's all about stopping to help. And the whole time the narrator's like, no, man, something's not right.
Yeah, I can see how that would make you nervous. You're trapped in the car, middle of nowhere, snowstorm raging.
Right. And it's dark. And they can't quite make out who's in the car. They think they see something move, maybe a figure in the driver's seat.
Oh, no, thank you. I'd be out of there.
Well, that's exactly what the narrator does. Slams on the horn, tells Mike to put it in drive, and they get out of there. Mike is not happy about it, but still.
Better safe than sorry, right? But I bet that nagging doubt stays with you.
Oh, totally. And that night, they're listening to the news. And guess what they hear?
Don't tell me. A report about people getting carjacked.
Yep, same MO.
Yeah.
Abandoned car, snowstorm, the whole deal.
Chilling. And suddenly, their decision to drive off doesn't seem so crazy anymore.
Right. makes you think twice about those situations where you're not sure if you should help or not.
It's like, how do you balance that compassion with your own safety? Tough call.
Tough call indeed. Okay, ready for another one? This last story, Uncle Joseph. It's different.
Different how? You're starting to freak me out a little.
This one gets under your skin in a whole different way. It's about this kid who's having these really intense nightmares.
Oh, nightmares. We all have those from time to time.
Right, but these are like next level,
Yeah.
vivid, disturbing,
Mm-hmm.
and he's desperate for help.
So who does he turn to?
His uncle, Uncle Joseph.
Yeah.
And get this, Uncle Joseph is a therapist.
Okay. I see where this might be going. Therapist, nightmares.
And at first you think, okay, well, that makes sense. You know, therapist, he's going to help this kid.
Right, seems logical.
Yeah. Yeah.
Someone to help him understand those nightmares.
Exactly. But here's where it gets weird. Uncle Joseph, he kind of latches onto these nightmares. Like, he's more interested in them than anything else.
Mhm. That's not exactly the therapist's job, is it?
No, not really. I mean, he should be trying to help the kid, right? But instead, he's like, oh, these nightmares, they're telling us something.
Okay, getting a little creepy now. I see where this is going.
Right. And he starts with this whole thing about how the nightmares are actually a sign of the kid's, like, repressed anger towards his parents.
Oh boy, projecting much.
Totally. And the kid is like, no, I don't think so. I love my parents.
Yeah.
But Uncle Joseph, he just keeps pushing it. Like, no, you see, you just don't realize it. It's this deep-seated resentment you
Oh
have.
wow, that's messed up. Taking advantage of a vulnerable kid like that.
Yeah.
Classic manipulation.
Right. And then he keeps saying this phrase over and over,
Ah.
set your find free.
Oh, that's just creepy.
I know, right? Like, what does that even mean? It's so vague, but also so ominous. And as the story goes on, Uncle Joseph, he just gets weirder and weirder, like more intense, more unhinged.
Okay, I'm getting chills here.
Wait till you hear this.
Okay.
So one night, the narrator, he wakes up in the middle of the night, and guess who's in his room, whispering in his ear?
Uncle Joseph.
Bingo, yeah. Whispering about setting his mind free.
Nope. No, thank you. That is nightmare fuel right there.
I know, it's like the ultimate betrayal of trust.
Yeah.
This is your uncle, someone who's supposed to protect you, and he's doing it.
Right, and you realize this isn't about helping the kid at all. This is something else entirely.
And then it gets even worse. Because later, the narrator finds this, like, satchel that Uncle Joseph left behind, and it's full of notes. Like, pages and pages of notes about dreams, about nightmares, about experiment.
Oh no, that's cold.
It's like you realize Uncle Joseph, he wasn't just a little obsessed with these nightmares. He was collecting them, studying them, maybe even trying to control them. And it makes you wonder, what was he planning to do with all of that information?
Right. What was his end game? So unsettling. Those unanswered questions just linger.
So we've gone from a maybe demon kid to a carjacking trap, and now this seriously creepy uncle. 3 very different stories, but all with that same effect, that lingering sense of unease, you know?
It's the power of suggestion. These stories, they plant these seeds of doubt, of fear. They tap into our deepest anxieties, fear of the unknown, fear of violence, fear of betrayal, and they make us question what's real, what's imagined.
They stay with you, even after the story is over. Like you find yourself looking over your shoulder, double-checking that car on the side of the road, wondering if maybe, just maybe, there really is something more to these creepypastas than meets the eye.
And that's the beauty of it, isn't it? That delicious blend of fear and fascination. It reminds us that even in a world saturated with information, there are still mysteries lurking in the shadows. And sometimes it's those very mysteries that draw us in, keep us coming back for more, even when we know they might just keep us up at night.
So listeners, next time you stumble across a creepypasta, take a moment to appreciate the craft, the way it plays on your fears, the questions it leaves you with. Because maybe, just maybe, the scariest thing of all is the power of our own imaginations. Thanks for diving in with us.